What's up, y'all? It's Celestarius. I was going to be making a video today about all the name change and gender marker changes that I've made on all my documentation, and I'm still hoping to make that video, but I'm a little nervous about making it. I don't know, I keep thinking about it, and I mean, everything that I've done has been legal. It's been all like the way that you're supposed to do things, or the way that you, at least at the time, you were supposed to do things. But I just am a little nervous about kind of like drawing attention to the changes that I've made, even though I've talked about it on other social media and stuff, but I don't know, I just am a little nervous about it. So I didn't really feel like making that today. So instead, I thought I would just make a little life update because I have had some things going on. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know most of this, but haven't talked about it here, so I thought I would just make a little update. So probably the biggest thing that I've had going on is that I joined a choir this year in January, and we just had our concerts last week. We had 2 concerts, Thursday and Friday evening, and it has been just a really amazing experience for me. You probably know if you've been following me for a while, I've been taking voice lessons for several years now, kind of off and on. I've had some periods where I had to stop doing it because it was so emotionally taxing for me. It's just been a really difficult process, very much deeper emotionally than I expected, much more difficult than I expected. I've just run into a lot of roadblocks with my voice. For whatever reason, there are plenty of people who have gone on testosterone and haven't had the kind of trouble that I've had. I don't know why it's been so hard for me, but I've just had a really hard time kind of learning to use my voice the way that it is now. And so it took me a really long time to feel like I would be ready to sing really in any capacity with other people or on my own, definitely on my own. I did a recital with my first voice teacher in 2019, and that was the first time I had performed, like the first time I had sung, other than just doing Rock Band, like the video game Rock Band with friends and stuff. I've done that a few times, but other than that, that was my first time performing in, almost 20 years, and that was the last time I've done it since then. So this concert was the first time that I really performed on stage in 25 years. And so it was I wasn't really nervous about it because of that. It was more kind of depressing thinking about that, because when I was growing up, I did musical theater, and it was my everything. I loved it so much, and I literally wanted to be on Broadway. It was my dream, and that was everything that I cared about. And then I just kind of lost that for a really long time, and it's really sad to me to think about how many years, literally decades, that I've lost because of that. And so now I'm just trying to catch up, and it's just been, like I said, really difficult with my voice change and trying to learn how to sing, and just everything about it has been difficult. But I finally felt like I would be ready to join the choir, and I wasn't even really thinking about it. I've been aware of this choir for years. I think 2018 was the first time I found out about this organization, which is called CFC Arts. It's based in Orlando, and they do a lot of other kinds of performing arts things. And at the time I found out about them, they were doing more musical theater stuff, which they've kind of haven't been doing as much of adult theater. They have a youth theater program, but they haven't done as much just general musical theater because of funding stuff. But hopefully they're going to be getting back to that at some point. But anyway, I've been to a bunch of their shows, and I've been to some of the, they also have a community orchestra, so I've been to some of their shows, and I've actually only seen the choir once or twice, but I thought it was really cool. It's actually supposedly the biggest, the largest community choir in the US. There are around 300 members, and so I was interested in it, but I didn't feel like I would be ready to do it. And then I follow their Facebook page, and so they had posted at the beginning of the season trying to get people to join the choir, and they talked about the music that they were going to be doing this season, and I was like, okay, I might have to do this, because it was Queen, Billy Joel, Elton John, Journey, and then they were like, oh, and we might have some late 90s boy band stuff, and I was like, okay, I don't think I can resist this anymore. So I finally got up the courage to join, and pretty much from the very beginning, I felt very welcomed, and I Obviously didn't know anybody there, and it was actually the day before I did my name change hearing that was the first rehearsal. And so even though it wasn't legal yet, it was my first place that I actually introduced myself as Celestarius to people, and that was like the first name that they knew me as. And so that was kind of cool. I decided to sing in the bass section because I don't really know what my actual voice type is. It's kind of a mystery and no one seems to be able to agree on it. But I have a pretty big range as far as like where I can make sounds on. Where I sound good is a little bit more questionable, but I felt like I feel more comfortable singing lower because it's easier. So I felt like that would probably be a better fit for me. So for most of the season, I mainly only interacted with people in the bass section. I would occasionally like interact with other people, but for the most part, the sections were all kind of separate. So that was kind of interesting. I would like see the other people and would kind of like start to recognize them, but I didn't really get to meet very many of them until really toward the end of the season. Like during show week was when I started to really meet more people. Well, like a week or two before that, I started to talk to some of the tenors because I was considering maybe switching to that section at some point if I feel more comfortable in my higher range. So I talked to some of them, but I really got to know a lot more people during show week, and it was just such a cool experience. I just can't even say enough good things about it. Just the whole organization is run so smoothly. They really know what they're doing. It's a great like atmosphere. They're very inclusive, and yeah, just everybody there has been super nice and very enthusiastic and positive, and it's just been a really, really amazing thing to have that every week, to be able to go there and not think about the world and everything that's falling apart around us and everything that's going wrong, and just go and sing with other people and just make art and just like think about positivity and things like that. It's just been really nice to have that. So we had our show last week. And it was just a fantastic experience, and Jason came to our second performance, as did my parents. They drove down from Jacksonville to see me, and so it was really nice, and just like, I don't know, it just made me feel really good to be able to perform and be on stage and get the applause and everything. It was really cool. Also, I realized that singing in a choir is really good for me right now because I get to do all the performance stuff without having to worry too much about how I sound. Like, obviously, I can't sound too bad or I'll stand out, but like, I'm on key and like I'm on the right pitches and everything, so like the actual quality of my tone isn't as important as it would be if I were singing solo, but I still get to do all the like emoting and like dancing around and just like having a good time part of it, and so that's really cool. So I got to like have that experience again, which again I haven't had for a really long time, and I used to like live for that. I'm looking forward to the next season, which starts in August. So I've got a few months now that I have to go without it, which is sad. Unfortunately, another thing that happened to me last week was that on the way to our tech rehearsal, which was 2 days before our first performance, I got rear-ended on the highway, and I didn't think it was too bad at first. I was able to drive to the rehearsal, but then afterward, like on the way there, my car was making kind of a weird noise, and I realized I think there was something wrong with my muffler. So afterward, some of the other people in the choir came out and looked at the car with me, and they were like, yeah, your muffler's definitely like falling apart. It was like kind of unattached from the car. Not entirely, but it was not attached as much as like all the way. So they helped me reattach it with some floral wire, enough that I could just drive home, which was a pretty far distance. The performance was at a venue. It's actually at an evangelical church, which is kind of funny. But like the organization isn't affiliated with them, but it's like they use that as the venue. So it's like about 45 minutes away from me, but because of the muffler situation, I didn't drive on the highway, so I took the long way home. So it took almost an hour to drive home. And I was really nervous that the car was gonna like fall apart and I would just be like stuck there at like 11 p.m. But luckily I made it home. So the next day I had to file a claim with the other person's insurance, and they agreed that they were liable for it. And so I took the car to the shop, and they were supposed to be fixing it, and the insurance was supposed to pay for everything, and they got me a rental, and they're paying for that as well. So everything seemed like it was going well, and then suddenly the insurance company is now saying that the car is a total loss, and so they just want to like pay me for the loss of the car, and not repair it, which is not what I want, because my car is still perfectly fine other than needing some work done, but the body shop, it says it's repairable. And the amount that they're giving me, the amount that they want to give me for the car is not enough for me to buy a new car with. So yeah, so I'm still trying to work all that out. But anyway, it's been a whole thing. But luckily it was like not, like everybody was fine. There wasn't anybody hurt in the accident. And so it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, it's just been like kind of a whole inconvenience, I guess, to deal with. And just kind of making me nervous about like getting my car back, because I still am driving this rental that they got me, which is a great rental. It's actually a really nice car. Like my actual car is 21 years old this year, so I like it, but it's definitely like when I drive a new car like the one that I'm driving, the rental, it's very obvious like how dated my car actually is. Like this car drives so smoothly, and it has all these fancy new features that my car definitely doesn't have. So yeah, it's been like fine to drive it, but I would like my car back. Other than that, I've still been working out, usually about 4 times a week, doing strength training, and then one day I've been running on the treadmill. I also run on the treadmill usually 2 of the other days that I do upper body strength training, but there's one day that I just do usually a 5K on the treadmill. And when I do the treadmill, I'm doing like intervals of walking and running. So I'm trying to get better at running, but I'm still not great at it. But I'm still just loving going to the gym. It's so regulating for me. It's so like, it just helps me in every way. This past week when I was getting ready for the concerts, I didn't work out because we had really late rehearsals every night, and then the shows were really late. Like I didn't even go to bed on Friday night. After the second show, there was an after party. So I didn't like get home and go to bed until almost the time that I normally get up to go to the gym. So obviously I wasn't going to the gym that week. And my sleep was all messed up and everything. So I definitely felt that. It wasn't too bad actually during the week. It was more like afterward for a few days. It took me a few days to kind of recover and like get back to normal. But yeah, when I get off my schedule, I can definitely feel a difference when I'm not working out regularly, because it is so like, it just does so much for me. Just the physical movement and moving heavy things and having the routine and just like, I don't know, just everything about it is so helpful to me. And it's kind of weird to me now to think about how for most of my like young adult life, I guess you would say, I was very, very sedentary. Like in high school, I was on the dance team. So like the first couple years of high school, I was dancing. And then there were a few times after that that I like tried to work out because I wanted to lose weight, because that's what you're supposed to do, obviously. That was sarcasm, by the way. I never really got into working out as something that I enjoyed or something that I wanted to do like for strength reasons, really. It was all just about like aesthetics and like trying to lose weight, basically. So I was very sedentary. I mainly was just like sitting around on the computer all the time, which I'm still kind of doing a lot of the time now, but it's weird to me to think about not having that outlet, like that physical outlet. It's so important to me now, and I mean, I wonder what it would have been like if I had had that then. I don't know. Like, so many other things in my life then were so messed up, and like, I was like, also had like horrible sleep hygiene and was like on a really bad sleep schedule, and wasn't eating very well for a lot of the time, and just like all kinds of things were messed up. But yeah, it turns out all those things actually do make a big difference for me. So there are a lot of other things in my life that are not like, still not great, that I'm still not like super great at dealing with and like adulting and stuff, but those things I am on top of pretty well, and they do make a big difference in my mental health and my physical health. So I'm still not like the strongest person around. I'm still not like super jacked or anything, but I definitely feel like I've had some noticeable changes in the last like year and a half or so since I joined the actual gym instead of just working out at home. Both like in the amount of muscle that I've gained, as well as like my actual strength gains. My like I use an app called Heavy to track all my workouts, and I've definitely like really improved in a lot of areas. There are some areas where I actually haven't really, or like have actually gotten worse over time, which is kind of weird. So I'm still trying to figure all that out, but most things I've improved a lot in, which is also really helpful for my like mental well-being to know that I'm actually like improving in something, being able to like track that progress and see that like if I put work into something, I can actually like get better at it and achieve things. And so that's like, I don't know, it's just like a nice little thing to have. Like I said, I usually work out at the gym, I guess 5 days a week because I'm doing 4 days of strength training and then 1 day of treadmill. So there are 2 other days left over, and I really don't like taking actual rest days where I don't do anything. I don't really enjoy that at all. I don't like being off my routine. I like having something that I'm doing in the morning. When I don't do that, which I occasionally don't if I have like an early appointment or like I'm some reason that I can't work out, like I'm traveling or something, I just feel kind of off. Like I just don't really like missing workouts. So, and by workout, I mean it could be like anything where I'm just moving. Like if I'm on a trip where I'm doing a lot of walking or something, it's fine. But if I'm just like not getting a lot of movement in, I feel very restless. So what I do when it's cooler weather is I like to go hiking at this state park near me that I've talked about on here before, but it's about 20 minutes away and I have an annual pass. So I try to take advantage of it as much as I can. So I've been going usually about twice a week. When I could do that, when it was cool enough to do that. It's now getting warmer, so I probably only can go back a couple more times. And the last couple weeks I haven't been able to go as much because it's definitely been a lot warmer, and also I was busy. But yeah, I really, really love going there. It's a decent sized park, but I mean, I've gone on all the trails at this point multiple times. So you would think it would get kind of boring, but it's always different. There's like, I mean, obviously part of it is that there's like, as the seasons change, there's actual like differences in the amount of foliage and the animals and all kinds of stuff is different over time, which is really neat to see. Like it's kind of cool to see the same place change over time. And then also just because it's like a living place, there's like anytime you go there, it's going to be different. The weather is different and the animals that are there are different and just, I don't know, it's just a different experience. I also find that really regulating. Just being out in nature and especially being by myself, which I usually am most of the time that I'm there. I'll occasionally run into somebody else, but most of the time I'm completely the only person that I see, which is amazing. Usually if I do see people, it's towards the end, like when I'm going back near the parking lots and stuff. But most of the time I go really early and I try to mostly go on weekdays. So most of the time I'm by myself. It's just me and nature, and it's just like so nice to have that peace and like just getting away from all the noise. And like I always turn my phone on like do not disturb and just like don't look at anything on there other than like my apps that I use for hiking. But like other than that, I don't look at anything else. And so it's just like a nice little vacation that I get for a few hours a couple times a week. And so that's really nice. And unfortunately, like I said, it's getting really warm here now. So I'm not going to be able to go there for a few more months. So that's going to be upsetting. And it kind of sucks that like a lot of things are ending right now. Like choir just ended and my hiking is pretty much ending. And I also have been getting some financial support from family that is unfortunately ending pretty soon. So a lot of things are ending right now that are kind of making me very anxious about the future and like what I'm going to be doing and trying to figure a lot of things out. So I guess that's kind of like the mental state that I'm in right now. Like things have been going weirdly kind of really well, despite the fact that like society is collapsing around us and everything is horrible. But I've actually like been doing pretty well emotionally, and even the things that have gone wrong, feel like I've dealt with pretty well and have been like surprisingly calm about and like been able to manage and yeah, just kind of like deal with. And so I've been kind of proud of myself for that. But now I'm getting kind of anxious because so many things are changing, and yeah, I just don't really know. Like, I need to figure something else out for the summer because I already hate the summer, and it's unfortunate that like my least favorite time of year is also the time that I am having like the things that have helped me emotionally taken away. So I need to figure something else out. I have been planning to get back to learning piano again, which I was doing a few years ago. I guess it was in 2019, I was teaching myself piano, and it was going pretty well. And that was during a time when I was doing a lot of stuff and things were like going really great and I was doing all this cool stuff. And then I had a mental breakdown and didn't know it at the time, but went into one of many periods of autistic burnout and just kind of fell apart. And I haven't really gone back to piano since then, just because there have been so many things that I like just haven't had the energy or like capacity to handle going back to, and I've been missing it. Like I want to be able to play piano, and I feel like I've lost, like I don't remember most of what I learned then. I'm sure I can get it back, but I definitely don't remember how to play the stuff that I had learned how to play at that point. And especially during choir, I started to really feel like it would be really helpful if I could read music better. Like I can read it in the sense of like looking at it very closely and being like, every good boy does fine, and like that kind of thing. I mean, occasionally I can look at something and just like remember what note it is, but most of the time I have to really think about it. So it's not very helpful. I definitely can't sight read something, and like it just takes me forever. And I just would like to get better at that. I would also like to get better at ear training. Like I can learn things by ear as far as like I hear something and I can like I know what it's supposed to sound like. I can like memorize it. But I couldn't tell you what note it is. I couldn't like hear a note and be like, oh, that's an E. Like I just can't do that. So I would like to get better at that. And I just feel like it would be helpful to me to be able to play piano or really any instrument, but piano seems the most accessible since I have a little bit of history with it, and we have 2 keyboards here in the house. We also have a bunch of guitars, but I don't think they're strung right now. Anyway, I definitely am planning to do that, so we'll see how that goes. But now that I'll have a little bit more time that I won't be spending doing choir, maybe I can be spending that doing piano and kind of catch up on that during the summer. Also in March, I had my 8-year anniversary of starting tea. I'm not technically 8 years on tea because I went off of it for a few times during that period, but that was when I started it for the first time, and I went on it for 3 months, and then I went off of it for like 6 months, I think, and then I went on it for however long, like 6 more months, then I went off it for 9 months. Anyway, I have mostly been back on it for the time since like late 2019. I did go off for 2 months last year, but mostly I've been on it since then, so it's been pretty consistent. And yeah, it's been interesting, like thinking about how when I started it, I didn't think that I was going to be on it for very long, and then it turned out that I really liked it, other than getting all the facial and body hair, which I don't like, and so I am in the process of getting laser hair removal for a bunch of different areas. I've already gotten several areas supposedly done, but they're still not completely smooth, so I'm still going back and getting at least one more treatment on some of those areas. So yeah, it's a whole process, but hopefully I can at least make it so that it's a lot easier to manage, because it's a pain and I don't like it. I'm still trying to figure out what I could do for income that won't lead me to have a mental breakdown and go into burnout again. I haven't really come up with anything. I do have some, like, supposedly a job right now, but I really don't do very much for it. I don't make a whole lot of money through that. Like, I make some, but definitely not enough to cover everything, so I need to figure out something else. Like I said, I've had some financial support up until this point for the last few years, but unfortunately it's running out. It was like a finite amount that was given to me, that's been given to me over time, and so that's ending now, and so I need to figure out something else, but I just don't know what to do. And going back to my old psychiatrist actually next week, he had stopped taking my insurance in 2020, and so that was when I stopped seeing him, and I stopped taking my medication not too long after that, my ADHD medication, because I just didn't feel like it was really doing much, and I really didn't notice a big difference when I stopped taking it. I never was really sure that it did a whole lot, but I feel like I need to have some kind of medication. Like, I don't know if there's a medication that can actually help me, but I feel like I need to try, so I decided to go back to a psychiatrist, and I went to one that was not a good fit at all, and then I realized maybe I should look to see if my old psychiatrist actually takes my insurance again, and it turns out he does. So I'm going to be going back to him, so I hope that I can find something that will help me be more productive, even though I don't know, I need to be careful about it because, like I said, I don't want to get overwhelmed again and fall apart and like go into collapse and be in a bad situation. So yeah, I need to figure something out, but that's kind of where I am right now. Things have been going pretty well, and I've been kind of like had all these great things that have helped me a lot, and now some of them are ending, and so I'm not really sure how things are going to go for the next few months. But hopefully I'll be able to figure some things out. Yeah, hopefully I'll do better than expected. That's how I've kind of been for the last little while, so maybe I'll be able to keep that up. And yeah, I don't know what else. I feel like that pretty much covers most things that have been going on with me. But y'all can let me know in the comments if there's anything that you want me to talk more about. I know I've promised some other videos that I haven't made yet, like the one that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, but then also like I do want to make one talking about when I went off of tea for a couple months, and I can't even remember all the other videos that I've said that I would make. I need to look back and see what I said. But if there's anything that you want me to talk about, let me know, and I'll try to get to those at some point. Honestly, I've been a little bit demotivated to make videos on here because of the whole YouTube demonetizing me thing, and I know that sounds bad. It sounds like I just do, like I'm doing this for the money or something, which I'm definitely not, because I don't make that much money. Even when I was making something on it, like it wasn't very much. But it's just like, it kind of makes me mad. Like the whole situation makes me mad that I like have all this content up and that they're not letting me make money off of it. So it just kind of, it's frustrating knowing that anything that I put up here, I'm not going to get anything back from, even though like it's the same amount of content that I had before, and I just don't have enough watch hours. So yeah, it's just like an annoying situation, and so it's been kind of hard to like get myself to do it, but I'm gonna try to get back to it, and we'll see how I do. But I know I have been saying that for like the last few years. I've been very sporadic with my videos. But it just is kind of hard to keep up with things when like they make it so like they're so condescending about it. It's like, oh yeah, you have all these videos, but sorry, you don't actually deserve to make any money off of them. We'll just keep them up, and like you won't get anything for them. But anyway, yeah, that's a whole rant that I could go on. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.